Marco, now aware that every small action can change destiny, began to see the world with different eyes. After that fateful day when he gave his last €30 to the child on the sidewalk, he decided to embrace life with a strength and generosity that led him to make unthinkable choices. His daily life was transformed. Every sacrifice, every meal given up, every hour spent helping Elisa were the tribute of a father who did not want to give up, despite the difficulties. Meanwhile, fate was intertwining in mysterious ways. The episode with the forgotten child was not a coincidence, but the seed of a network of events that would change his life. Marco began to frequent a small solidarity center in the neighborhood, where he met people who shared his same spirit of altruism. There he met Sofia, a young teacher who had decided to dedicate her life to giving a voice to those who could not defend themselves. Her presence, kind and encouraging, brought a ray of sunshine even on the grayest days. Sofia, touched by Marco's story, became a constant presence in his life. She helped organize charity events, and often found herself telling stories of hope and resilience to the children at the center. One day, during one of these initiatives, an elderly gentleman named Ernesto told Marco and the others present a story from the past. Ernesto spoke of a young man who, in a particularly harsh winter, had offered his cloak to a stranger, saving him from the cold and despair. That story, similar to Marco's, awakened a profound awareness in him. Every act of kindness could generate a domino effect, creating a chain of help that embraced the entire community. That's how Marco decided to enroll in a training course to learn how to manage small social businesses, dreaming of a future in which money was no longer the primary cause of pain. Time passed, and while Elisa, despite her condition, demonstrated incredible inner strength, Marco continued to fight to give her every chance of redemption. During the long hours in which he took care of his daughter, Marco learned to know every little detail of her indomitable spirit, the way Elisa found joy in the little things, the smile that lit up her face when she listened to a melody on the piano, or her intense gaze when she daydreamed of a different future. In those moments, even the coldest nights seemed less lonely. When Leonardo, the young entrepreneur, appeared in Marco's life, everything changed further. Leonardo, now an adult but still marked by the memories of a youth spent in difficulty, had made a name for himself thanks to his resourcefulness and his ability to recognize human value. His business, born almost by chance, soon became a symbol of hope for many, a restaurant that not only served delicious dishes, but also served as a social gathering center, where stories and destinies intertwined. Leonardo had been following an emotional trail for years, that of the mysterious man who years before had changed his destiny by giving him not only money, but above all dignity. When he found Marco, he could not hold back his emotion. He still vividly remembered that altruistic gesture, a gesture that had made him understand that every person, even the humblest, could be a bearer of light. So, with his heart in his hand, he showed up at Marco's house and offered him concrete help, an operation in Switzerland that could give Elisa a chance of healing, a chance to walk again with the strength of life. The trip to Switzerland was an intense adventure. Marco, accompanied by Leonardo and a team of doctors that seemed to have come out of a modern fairy tale, saw determination in Elisa's eyes, that same light that had never gone out, despite adversity. During the journey, among the snow-capped mountains and enchanted landscapes, Elisa rediscovered the meaning of hope and resilience. Each stage of the journey was a story, a life lesson transmitted through the silence of the peaks and the warmth of the kind faces they met along the way. Leonardo, often at Marco's side, told stories of his childhood, of how even in the darkest moments you could find a reason to smile. That sincere closeness gave birth to a deep friendship, a bond that went far beyond mere gratitude. In Switzerland, Elisa faced the operation with a courage that left everyone who knew her breathless. The doctors, impressed by her determination, worked with all their strength to give her back the precious gift of being able to walk. The weeks of rehabilitation were a whirlwind of emotions. There were days of despair, but also moments in which every small progress was celebrated as a victory against fate. During the physiotherapy sessions, Elisa made friends with other patients, each with a unique story, each with the courage to face their daily battles. These encounters taught her that life, while full of obstacles, was also an inexhaustible source of opportunities to grow and learn. When Elisa finally returned home, the transformation was evident. Not only was she back on her feet, but she had also acquired a new awareness, that of being able to rewrite her own destiny, of being able to choose happiness despite the scars of the past. The reunion was a moment of pure emotion. Marco, with tears in his eyes, hugged his daughter, aware that every sacrifice, every pain, had led to that miracle. Leonardo, witness to that rebirth, came forward with a sincere smile and a gesture that would change their lives even more. He asked Marco for his blessing to marry Elisa, firmly declaring that love was the most powerful force of all. The wedding was an event that united not only two people, but entire communities. It was organized with simplicity but also with a touch of magic, the streets of the city filled with lights, music, and stories of rebirth. During the reception, Marco was invited to tell his experience, and with a trembling but determined voice he spoke of how every small gesture, no matter how insignificant it seemed, could change someone's life. Those words, full of emotion and authenticity, made every guest reflect, awakening in each one the desire to give, to help, to believe in a better future. But life didn't stop there. As the years passed, Marco became a point of reference in his city. The local media began to tell his story, and he, never vain, always responded that he was not the protagonist, but the strength of love and solidarity. Meetings with other people who had lived similar experiences pushed him to write a small book, a logbook made up of memories, advice, and anecdotes that could inspire those who found themselves fighting against destiny. The book soon became a symbol of hope, a guide for those who needed a light in the darkness. Meanwhile, Elisa, increasingly confident, decided to pursue a career in social work. Enrolled in psychology and social work courses, she wanted to help young people who, like her, had experienced the pain of loss and the hard fight for rebirth. She collaborated with charities and organized events to raise public awareness of the importance of inclusion and solidarity. Each of her speeches, each meeting, was a hymn to life, an invitation to never give up, even when the path seemed too arduous to travel. Leonardo, for his part, expanded his restaurant into a small chain whose main mission was to reinvest profits in social projects. Each location was designed not only as a place to eat, but as a center of cultural and solidarity aggregation, where workshops, live music evenings and solidarity meetings were organized. His innovative vision led to collaborations with artists, activists, and entrepreneurs, creating a network that extended well beyond the city limits. Every time a new location opened, Leonardo organized a party, a moment in which the community could celebrate together the beauty of rebirth and mutual support. As time continued to pass, Marco often found himself reflecting on how a single act of generosity could transform an entire existence. The memory of the woman he loved, Anna, was always close to him, but now he knew that she would want to see in him the strength to move forward and build a better future for Elisa and for anyone who needed a hand. Evenings spent in the company of friends and colleagues from the Solidarity Center became moments of sharing and laughter, in which life stories intertwined in a mosaic of hope and resilience. And so, in that small town, the story of Marco, Elisa, Leonardo, and so many others became legend. A story that spoke of sacrifice and love, of difficulties overcome with courage, and of a community that had learned to look beyond the pain to embrace the light. Every time someone was in difficulty, people remembered that simple but powerful gesture, giving without expecting anything in return, because love, after all, is the greatest gift we can offer. Life had taught everyone that even in the darkest days, there was always a spark capable of illuminating the path. And it was from that spark, lit by the generous heart of a man who had never given up, that a new hope was born, destined to last forever.